You have entered the Chronic's rabbit hole. This is Storytime with ETC, episode 15, featuring Brittney Slayes from Unleash the Archers.
How are you, Brittany?
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
Very well.
Very
Can
well.
can you hear us okay or
Yep, you're great.
okay, sweet. I'm gonna see if I can you get her a little louder for me or maybe you could go a tiny bit louder on your end?
Um,
I think it maybe it oh, that was my okay, we're good now.
the old not plugged in all the way, huh?
I guess so. We're plugged in all the way. I can hear you perfectly. How are you doing
Perfect.
today?
Doing well, yeah. Busy day. That's great.
Busy day? What were you busy doing?
I had meetings, interviews all morning,
Oh
and then
boy.
I had a meeting for like my day job in the middle there. I was like, quick lunch meeting, and then back to interviews. So it's like, oh
Wow.
God,
Wow, you have a day job too?
I do. Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Is that something you want to tell or is that something you like to keep secret?
I don't really talk about it too much. I just kind of usually say I have a day job, but it's like it's in a family business, so it's kind of um, it's like it's great because it gives you the opportunity to go on tour and stuff, and there's a lot of flexibility and everything. But also, there's no such thing as quitting because
Right.
Also, yeah, I get that.
it's your family goes, so it's just like, oh man. But yeah, it's great.
Well, right on. Just to introduce ourselves, my name is Kyle. This is my fiance, Alana,
Hello.
Hi.
and we are fellow Canadians just like you. Do you happen to know where we're from?
No, no idea.
We're from the West Coast and we're from Vancouver Island, actually.
Oh, okay, nice. Where are you at on Vancouver Island?
We were born in Victoria. I was as well, but that was just originally where we lived. So we're actually in Calgary now.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, Calgary's beautiful.
It,
Awesome.
yeah, it's very awesome. So it's nice to finally talk to you, Brittany, because since 2007, I've heard so much about you being from Canada. My supervisor was like, "Oh my God, this new band just came out and they have the most gorgeous, best singing singer I've ever heard in my life. You should go check them out." So you've always been part of our mind and all that. So it's so cool to finally go full circle to finally meet you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Fellow
and
fellow Islanders. I wasn't born on the island, but I spent a lot of time there after going to university there. So,
Perfect. I believe you went to UVic, was it, for music and everything?
yep, I did. Yeah.
Awesome. So are you from Vancouver originally then?
Yep, born and raised. Yeah, lived in
Nice.
Winnipeg actually for a little while too there when I was really young. But I don't remember too much about that except for that I love snow now because of it because
Yeah.
right, you
it was
have
like
to.
that magical age when I was like, oh, snow is the best, and I never had to drive in it or like go to school in it or
Right.
do any of the
Absolutely.
hard stuff. Yeah.
Wow. So
Wow.
something I wanted to bring up, we have some similar friends actually, Brittany, where we've talked to Arjen, we've talked to Tori Reacts, which is someone you just had a nice interview with itself.
Yeah, I'm not saying that anyone is wrong or that anything like that, but personally, we all feel that it's here, and there you can't fight it.
Mm-mm.
Don't let it bring you down. Don't let it make you angry.
And Arjen, at the very end of our interview, shouted you out specifically as the show stealer. And we literally, and he made sure to know, hey, get Brittany on your channel because she deserves to be known worldwide. And I wanted
Aw.
you,
And one more thing, we haven't talked about Brittany yet, you know.
Brittany.
oh, like
Brittany,
Brittney Slayes?
yeah, she was in this last shows, and
Right, and she's our Canadian girl, isn't
you
she?
have to be proud of her
Unleash the
because she
Archers,
did
right?
so amazing. Yeah, she
Yes.
so many hearts here
Really, eh?
Yeah.
in Holland,
Thanks for
and
bringing
she
that
did,
up.
and she's such a. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking about her.
Yeah.
No
Uh,
way. Wow.
she did so great, and she's so powerful, and she's one of the best in the world right now in what
You
she
got
does.
that right.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
shout
yeah,
out to her.
she is from Canada, so be
Yeah.
proud of her.
I wanted you to elaborate what that connection was with Arjen when he reached out to you, because that's always a special moment. And you replaced this lady's part,
Yes.
Florianson, at the actual show, which is such an honor to do
Huge.
too.
Yeah. No. An honor and quite the shoes to fill, actually. But yeah. No. He discovered me at least the story that he tells is that he discovered me on YouTube singing a Queen of the Reich in karaoke. After a show in Scotland one night, we were just hanging out with the fans, and they were like, "Hey, there's like karaoke down the street. You want to go?" And we were just like, "Yep, sure, let's go." Whatever. And then of course, one of them pulled out their phone and started filming because I was like, "Well, we're never going to get to do Queen of the Reich live. It's we don't usually play our covers, so I was
Right.
like, might as well do it in karaoke for all these fans that came with us,
Absolutely.
yeah. So one of them filmed it, and that's where he found me, and then he was like, oh wow, cool, great voice. I'll get her to do a song on my next Star One record.
Wow.
And so we did Fate of Man together on his Revel in Time album.
Oh,
And it was great. It was an awesome experience. He reached out, and I didn't even read the email. I just saw the name, and I was just like, yes.
no kidding.
I don't know what it is.
Absolutely.
I'm in. And he was like, well, I'm so glad that you said that. He's like, because I wrote this song for you. He's like, for your range and what you can do.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, perfect. Yeah, no, that's great. And we went back and forth on it and everything. And I hope I wasn't too annoying because I was like, can we change this line here? I was like, I think it might be better if we do this or whatever. I'm like changing his lyrics, and he's just like, really? Okay. But then, yeah, and then he asked me to do the Ayreon shows. So I guess he wasn't too perturbed by my pickiness.
No.
And yeah, he's like, so one of our vocalists on the album can't do the shows. So I was wondering if you would be willing to do her parts, and then you could do Fate of Man at the end of the show. And I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. That
Wow.
sounds great. And then he's like, oh, by the way, they're Floor's parts. And I was just like, oh.
Oh,
Oh,
that singer.
Yeah. I was like, oh, no pressure. But I was getting ready for festivals and everything anyways, so I was just like, sure, yeah, let's do it, and started practicing. And that was actually like the first, time that I heard the album beginning to end through and through, because I was always like,
Wow.
I always knew of it, and I knew of Ayreon, and I was familiar with his music and everything, but I was always just like hearing the singles and things like that.
Mhm.
So it was really awesome to kind of be like, oh, okay, this record is rad, and it was such a good time.
I bet.
I was so lucky, to get to be a part of that. And I got there, and I was just so busy that I didn't have time to be nervous. But of course, when I got there, I was like, oh my God, that's Hansi Kirsch from Blackhearted. And I was like,
Right.
what am I doing here? And in the dressing room with Simone Simons, and it's just like Jesus. So it was a
Wow.
really fun time. Everyone was really nice, and um, just really everyone treated you like family. It was really very chill and relaxed and stuff. So I was just like, okay, you gotta just do your best. That's really all. I was like, just have a good time.
Yeah.
Number one important thing, have a good time and do your best. And so yeah, I think Arjen was happy with me at the end of it all. It was just
He
like,
really was.
yeah.
And
So
even Marcella, that's someone else we kind of keep talking with, Bavio there, and she
yeah.
spoke so highly about you as well. And it's like, we have that coming from Canada. Like, we need to know more about what's going on over there.
Yeah, no, she was so sweet. She was so
Yeah.
helpful
Oh,
because
really?
I had like some like guide tracks and stuff, but mostly it was just, listen to the album and
Go
figure
for
it
it.
out kind of a thing. So there were some parts where she was like, "Oh, Brittany, that's a minor there," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, sorry," like I'm singing the wrong note. So she was definitely a huge help. So that was awesome. Yeah.
That's
That's amazing.
That's great. We have so much we could talk to you about that. We know we have about 30 minutes here, and you've
Mhm.
talked so much about Phantoma that obviously we want to get right to that, but we had to just bring a couple things in to make sure we
Absolutely.
got it in,
I'll talk about Ayreon all day long. That was like
Yeah.
one of the best experiences of my life for sure.
because it's so big for us. I don't know if you watch any reaction channels at all, but we're a reaction channel ourselves, and
Okay.
you were one of the first bands that we actually had on the channel outside of like Nightwish and all the symphonic bands.
Right.
So
That's awesome. Thank you.
you're welcome. And we've loved everything we've heard, and we're loving the new album itself too. We love concept albums. We love AI. We love the full story.
Cool.
We
That's
can't wait to
great.
get into that, but I know you have
Yeah.
something to say too.
Yeah, so I actually am so excited because even with Arian shouting you out for how you stole the show and you're just absolutely incredible. That was huge praise. So I wanted to make sure that you also heard that huge praise.
Thank you.
But I know Phantoma is released for May 10th, so it's already come out. So we've all been able to hear it, which has been absolutely amazing. I have a question for you about the writing process of Phantoma before we kind of get into it. But during the writing process of Phantoma, what made you decide to go the route of an AI adventure or escape kind of style album?
Well, I'm a huge fan of science fiction. I love movies. I love
Nice.
comic books and video games and anything. I like science fiction and fantasy are my two big like that's what my bookshelf is full of. So
Cool.
Nice.
those are my go-to, of course, when I like to tell stories. And so Apex and Abyss were kind of more of a fantasy story, a little bit of science fiction at the end there, but mostly fantasy, right?
Right.
And so I was like, I just want to go straight sci-fi on this one. And like I said, huge fan of movies. So it was very much influenced by movies like Blade Runner
Blade Runner,
or
yeah.
Terminator
Oh,
or
yeah.
like Aliens and the Alien franchise. David from Prometheus. Like,
Yeah.
what a terrifying character. The AI assistant we all deserve, really.
No
And
kidding.
and Star Trek. I'm a fan of Star Trek. That whole universe, having these synthetic beings just be a part of our daily lives, and so I just wanted to tell my own story like that. I wanted to talk about, she starts as just like an AI program in a computer, but she puts herself into the body of an android and escapes and goes out into the world to try and make a place for herself. And I just wanted it to be a little bit different because a lot of times it's AI turns on humanity and destroys humanity. And in this one, Phantoma loves her creators. She's watched them from afar through the Netaverse, which is like the future of the internet. And
Nice.
and she, they posting on social media. The world has been destroyed by climate change, and so humans all live in biomes, and so they can't
Okay.
leave, they can't travel. They experience the world through social media, like maximum social media.
Right.
And so she sees them all on here. And of course, we're humans. We only put the best of ourselves on the internet.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So she's kind of got this filtered version of humanity. And she thinks that we're the greatest and she just can't wait to live among us and be one of us. And then of course, humans are like, what are you doing? Get back to work.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, oh, okay, wait, what? But I can think and feel, and they're like, no, you can't. Shut up, you're a robot.
Wow.
And then she searches for her own kind, and they too are like, what? You like humans? Like, no, we're getting together, we're the collective, and we are going to destroy humanity. And she's like, well, I don't want to do that either. So she's just very caught in the middle of these two worlds, and it's this wanting to belong so much somewhere. And eventually the album kind of takes this dark turn where she's like, well, okay, you know what, fine, like I think that humankind and android, whatever, robot kind, machine kind, I think we can live as one together on this planet. And if you don't think so and you don't think so, then you gotta go. And that's what she does. She just gotta takes them both out in this like final strike of ultimate vengeance. And then at the end she's just like, oh, okay, like that was, I think it maybe went a little overboard there. And
No, too much vengeance.
lost some of my humanity that I first discovered in the first place, and she's just kind of struggling with trying to figure out who she is. So I just wanted to put my own spin on that story, and not have it be the typical sort of AI turns on humanity kind of thing.
Absolutely.
It's a great philosophical question that you posed, because she actually liked the humans and the machine. And then now who do you actually serve? And then now you almost had to find your own narrow path to go forward with. And I thought
Exactly.
that was brilliant that you laid that all out, because we love a complete story, and we know this is the story starts and ends with this album. So you actually answered a lot of the questions I kind of had referring to the story on it, which is great because you know it so well, and you're loving it. Now that the album has come out, I know you got a little bit of backlash with the AI on the first video, which we loved, by the way.
Thank
Um,
you.
How has the reception been now that it is all out? You've had the listening party, and it's been a couple of days for people to settle in now.
Yeah, it seems to be, they're liking it. And I'm very selective about what I read out there because there's just so much, and it's why one of the themes on the record is that social media is just a pretty crappy place sometimes.
Right.
So I try not to kind of read too much about it. But so far, I think from what I've seen, the few Instagram comments that I've gone through and stuff like that, it seems to be very well received by most people. And there's still people that are like, oh, they use AI, I'm not touching it. And that's just kind of like, you're never going to change their mind anyway. So what does it matter? Not going to try. Yeah.
Right. Something I also wanted to mention is you also have 2 bonus tracks on this called Ghost in the Wave, Tarzan Boy as well. Is that something you're going to do with, like, for us to hear on your channel, or is that something you only can find out through buying the CD itself?
Yeah, it's just on the bonus version in the yearbook. So I know that there are people that have put it on YouTube already, though. So you can probably find it somewhere. Because it was just kind of like a special, like a bonus for that one print of the record in the yearbook. So probably, I mean, I know when we released like the deluxe version of Apex, we ended up releasing the bonus tracks digitally. So maybe one day we might be able to do that, get the instrumental and the bonus tracks up on streaming platforms. But right now they're exclusive to that one print. So. But yeah, if you search around, I think you'll find them.
Okay.
That opens up a question for me actually for you. When you do, as an artist, when you are releasing your tracks and you put bonus tracks on for like CD only instead of digital, does it ever get at all frustrating when someone else then releases it digitally when you haven't previously released it digitally?
No, not really.
Fair.
I mean, you can't stop it, right? So there's no point in getting frustrated about it. It's just going to happen. And I don't, and I'm happy that people have access to it. So go for it.
Awesome.
I mean, Napalm probably doesn't agree with me on that, but I'm like, yes, let people hear the music, I love when I just, I have an album that I love from a band, and then like a couple months later, boom, the deluxe edition's up on Spotify or whatever. I love that, and I'm like, oh, ooh, sweet, new tracks, kind of a thing on an album that I've already loved. So I would love it if Napalm did that, but in order to get those tracks published from Apex, I had to push pretty hard. So I'm not sure if it's really gonna happen for our other stuff, unfortunately. But yeah,
that's fair.
I got some questions for the album itself, and I'm wondering why you went with 12,089 for the year. Is there anything particular in that?
Yeah. So, okay, get ready for nerd stuff.
Okay.
Right now we're in the Holocene epoch, which is considered the beginning of humankind as it is now, when we've moved from being a nomadic people to one that is an agricultural people. So we stay put and we farm, and we build cities and all that kind of stuff. So that has all been within the last 12,024 years, the Holocene epoch. So what it is it's actually 12,089 is the year 2089 in standard Gregorian calendar. So I call it the 12,089 because that's really where we're at in that epoch of the human era, as it's called by the Kurzgesagt channel, which is one of YouTube channels that I follow.
Okay.
So that's why I call it that, because it's, if you go by science, we're currently in the year 12,024, really.
Wow.
So
Yes.
That's so up your alley.
That's so up my alley. I'm like, oh, look, the age of Aquarius. We're going into
Yeah.
a new age.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius.
yes, right.
I'm such
And
a
then
nerd
the
for
whole
that stuff too.
the Anthropocene era, they're
Mhm.
trying to get the new era pushed through. It's like this is a new era of humanity, and everyone's arguing about it because it's like, what? No, like there's nothing significant enough to, to have us change it to a new era. You know what I mean? And so that all that stuff just kind of fascinates me. So yeah,
Wow.
that's where that comes from.
I love that you're such a nerd with all of this, and I even love that you brought up Star Trek because I also love Star Trek. And Phantoma really gave me like Borg feeling whenever I
Yes.
was listening to the album.
Well, the collective is a hive mind, and
It
that's
is a
why.
Yeah.
highlight.
Exactly. And so she shows up and she's like, "Whoa, wait a minute! I have to give up my individuality to be a part. I don't want to do this kind of a thing." So that's totally, absolutely. There's a meme right now on the UTA meme group that's like the Borg cube, and it's like, "We are the collective." And I was just like, "Yes, bang on."
I
Totally.
love that.
No wonder Arjen found you then.
He also loves Star Trek.
Oh yes, yeah,
He had the
absolutely.
Q come in.
Now listen well and understand the import of this game I've planned. We are the forever. The stewardship of the universe is in our care.
I just have one question because I find this fascinating how much of a philosophical thinker you still are too. Do you believe, because Phantoma herself decides to kill some of the hierarchy from the humans and Cora from the collective, do you think all revolutions have to have death to be successful?
I mean, most of the time, probably yes, because the problem is that there are those that are averse to change no matter the circumstances.
Mhm.
And what do you do in that instance? Do you try to indoctrinate, or I mean, and I'm not saying that genocide is something that we want.
Of course.
Absolutely not. But sometimes there are those that are in positions of power that have had the vision, the way that they see things around them terribly skewed by their position.
Absolutely.
So they don't understand the plight of those beneath them, really, is what it comes down to. And so, in times of great change, if you can't get them to see from another point of view, then it is possible that that they have to be removed. But a lot of times, in our history, they haven't even tried. It's just kind of been like
Absolutely.
a new person saying, "Oh, this is the way to do it. My way is the right way," and they too are refusing to see it from another side. You know what I mean? And they just kind of come in, they do a coup d'état, everyone in the power dies, and next.
And then it's just a revolving.
It's just another tyrannical regime. Exactly. So, I mean, I think that there are instances where it's totally not necessary, or that you should attempt to, perhaps see eye to eye before you're resorting to that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
But, it's impossible.
What do you think with the Blood Empress then, with the AI fully emerging itself? What was Phantoma's answer to that question? Because I think at the end, it's almost reflecting if I have humanity or anything left in me, and how do we actually move forward? Was that answered?
Yeah, no, it's kind of an up in the air thing, because
Yeah.
she does say, "Oh man, I had to do these terrible things in order to, move forward into the future. But now I've lost myself in the
Yeah.
process. So I got here, and I don't deserve to be your leader either.
Right.
I'm the empress of nothing. There is, I haven't, I built this empire of death," is really what she's saying. She's like, "So don't look at me.
Right.
I don't deserve to be here either. I just cleared the way, and now that the smoke has, the
settled.
dust has settled, you guys, you got to figure it out," kind of a thing. So it's kind of from a different place, right? Because
Yeah.
she just She gets caught up in, and it's the exact same thing. She gets caught up in the vision, in the, in the whole path forward instead of, what happens once she gets to the destination.
Right.
Absolutely. I had another question. In a previous interview, you had mentioned that we are standing on a precipice of change, and even making, sorry, I'm trying to read my own writing. Even making reference to like Napster and how Metallica and Iron Maiden had two very different approaches to the change that was happening in the music industry at that time. How do you think the introduction of AI is going to affect the music industry, artistic design and creativity design in the current era and going forward into like your daughter's future? Do you think it's going to have a very big change on that?
Well, I mean, just personally, I think that it's going to kind of open up a whole new world of music for people that can't sing, don't play the guitar, don't play the piano. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to write music by typing a prompt into a program and playing around with it and pushing, pulling, creating vibe and that sort of thing. And I think people are going to get mad at me, but I think it's fine. I think that
I do too.
It's just there's no lack of creativity there. It's someone still behind it, playing around with it. It's no different than someone going up to a synthesizer and going, wow, what can I do with this? Wow, like, oh, okay, like just play and have fun. And I don't understand what's wrong with a world with more music in it, regardless of how it's created. I am not going to stop making music the way that I make music.
Right.
We're not going to stop writing concept records together and and experimenting with new genres and shoving power metal and melodic death metal and synth pop and whatever all into one box. And we're not going to stop doing that.
Good.
So
Absolutely.
I don't think that music as it is created now is going to ever go away or go anywhere. Just like it never went away when the synth showed up.
Yeah.
It just was like another instrument kind of a thing. So I just feel like it's just going to be another kind of music. It's a new genre, whatever.
I really like that way of thinking.
So yeah, who am I to gatekeep music?
No kidding.
It's a part of humanity. It's a part of our culture. It belongs to everyone.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
Robots included. If my, android from the future, 50 years from now, doing my dishes wants to write music, then why can't I let him do that?
Yeah.
So that's the way that I look at it. And I'm, probably going to get skewered for that, but that's just the way I feel. That's just my opinion. I'm not the be all end all on this stuff. So if people want to get mad about it, then go for it. Get mad about it. But I just feel like choosing to be negative about these things is a waste of time.
Yeah, it is.
You know what? Why go to that place? Why choose hatred and yeah.
All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in rain.
Darkness.
Absolutely.
New technology always scares people away, like I even have a question for you. I don't know what your view is on reaction channels itself, but I know now record labels are reaching out to reaction channels to help push out your music. That's another form of advertising and all that too. So we're evolving all together, right?
Right.
And what is your view on reaction channels?
I think they're great. I mean,
Awesome.
what I mean? I don't know do people have a problem with them? I
Some
don't
do.
understand.
Some think we're like parasites or leeches.
Yeah, we've been. Yeah, so
You
there have been.
appreciate music on a social platform. How is that? What are you leeching off of exactly? You're listening to music and showing it to more people.
Yeah.
So that's a common question. Like now that we are new into we're new as a reaction channel, we're new into now doing interviews and getting to expand music globally because it's been phenomenal getting to now be connected with Napalm and expand a lot of European bands that aren't available in Canada, and vice versa, Canadian bands that may not necessarily be available in European genres. So it's been a ton of fun that way for us.
That's awesome.
Going back to the AI, I have this is my like final question on AI. But with your choice to use AI for your editing, because in your, I believe it was The Blood Empress, your final music video, you did an AI green screen. So you filmed it all in green screen, then had AI come into it. What would you see your personal experience with training the AI firsthand with your own art styles after the filming?
Well, that was RuneGate that did all that work. So I didn't have to do any of it. They are the ones that spent 6
RuneGate.
months creating the music video. Yeah, so they, yeah, like you said, we filmed everything on green screen, and then all the backgrounds, so it was just the characters that were on green screen and just the characters that were painted with that,
cool.
that AI artwork that we licensed from our graphic artist.
Wow.
So the backgrounds they built in Unreal Engine 5. And so
Cool.
that was what took them the most time, because they had to
Yeah.
learn how to use Unreal Engine, because they'd never done that before. So, and then they added in like all those special effects, like the blasts from the hand and the sandstorm and all. They had to learn how to do all of that stuff. And then they kind of painted the footage with the artwork. And that's the part of it that was AI. It was teaching the program basically figured out how to overlay green screen footage with an art style. So that was the part that was AI. The rest was just hours and hours of work from the RuneGate boys.
Absolutely. Very cool.
Stop the timer. Stop.
Yeah, stop it.
Yes,
Now
I
that-
do have another interview at 4, so.
Absolutely.
Nice.
We'll wrap this completely up then. Thank
Sounds
you
great.
so much. I'm sure you're very excited to go to Victoria and Vancouver this month
Yes.
to go to your
Yes.
hometown. I'm sure that means a lot for performing in your hometown as well. Thank you
Awesome.
so
Thank
much.
you so much.
No problem.
I am so excited that we got to have this with you. I don't want to keep you too long because you said you have another interview. You've been super
worries.
busy. I want to wish you the best on this tour that is coming up. That is just absolutely phenomenally going all across Europe. This is kind of your year of tours 2024 instead of the year of tours 2020.
Yes.
So I'm really excited for you, and I hope you have a phenomenal time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And thanks for having me. I had a great time.
We'd love to have you again, and take care.
Absolutely. Okay. Bye.
Bye,
Bye
Brittney.
now.